Have you ever felt that quiet moment of worry when a health headline appears and you are not sure what it truly means for you? A patient of mine once shared that she felt more anxious about what she did not understand than about the illness itself. I want you to imagine this for a moment. You are sitting at your kitchen table with a cup of tea, listening to someone explain a complicated topic slowly and kindly, without pressure or fear. That is how I want this conversation to feel today. My name is Dr. Evelyn Carter, and for many years I have cared for older adults and their families. I have learned that when it comes to emerging viruses, fear usually grows from confusion, not from the facts themselves. Nipah virus is one of those names that sounds alarming because it is unfamiliar. It is rare, but it is serious, and that is exactly why it deserves a calm and thoughtful explanation. In simple terms, Nipah virus is an infection doctors watch closely because past outbreaks showed it can become severe in some people. Science tells us that certain viruses move quickly in the body, especially when the immune system is already working harder with age. Knowing this does not mean we should panic. It means we respect the body and stay informed so we can respond wisely rather than react emotionally. In my caregiving experience, older adults often worry about more than their own health. They think about their spouse, their children, and their grandchildren. They think about independence and dignity. This video is not a warning alarm. It is a quiet conversation meant to replace uncertainty with understanding and to protect emotional safety as much as physical health. As we continue, I invite you to gently tap, like if this feels helpful, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to Senior Health Daily so we can stay connected. In the next part, we will talk more clearly about what Nipah virus is and why doctors pay attention to it, always at a pace that respects your peace of mind. Thank you for being here with me today. What Nipah virus is and how it was discovered. When people first hear the name Nipah virus, it often sounds distant, like something that belongs to another place or another time. In my years of caring for older adults, I have learned that unfamiliar names tend to create more unease than familiar illnesses, even when the actual risk is low. Understanding begins by slowing down and explaining what something truly is. Nipah virus is a virus that was first identified in the late 1990s during an outbreak of severe illness. Doctors noticed that people were becoming sick very quickly, with symptoms that affected both the body and the brain. What made this virus stand out was not how common it was, but how intense the illness could become in a short period of time. That early discovery taught the medical community an important lesson. Rare conditions still deserve attention when their impact can be serious. From a scientific perspective, Nipah virus belongs to a group of viruses that can affect the nervous system. That matters because the brain and nervous system play such a central role in memory, balance, and daily function. As a physician who has spent many years caring for patients with memory changes and dementia, I pay close attention to anything that may affect brain health, especially in older adults whose nervous systems may already be more vulnerable. What I want you to hear clearly is this. Rare does not mean irrelevant. We live in a world where travel, caregiving, and close contact between generations are part of everyday life. A virus does not need to be widespread to be worth understanding. It only needs the potential to cause harm if it appears. I remember speaking with a patient years ago who told me she preferred knowing about health risks ahead of time, even unlikely ones. She said it helped her feel grounded rather than startled by sudden news. That feeling of steadiness is what understanding provides. Not alarm, not fear, just awareness. Learning how Nipah virus was discovered reminds us why doctors continue to study it. Not because it is everywhere, but because when it does appear, preparation matters. For older adults, preparation is not about changing daily life or living in worry. It is about having calm knowledge stored away, like a flashlight kept in a drawer. You may never need it, but knowing it is there brings peace. That quiet peace is the foundation of healthy aging, and it is why we take the time to understand even the things that feel distant. How Nipah virus spreads. When people hear about a virus, the first question I am usually asked is how it spreads. That question often carries quiet worry, especially among older adults who spend much of their time caring for others or receiving care themselves. The good news is that understanding transmission brings clarity and calm, not fear. Nipah virus does not spread casually through the air the way seasonal colds often do. It requires close contact. In past outbreaks, transmission happened through direct exposure to bodily fluids from an infected person or animal. This matters because it helps us separate realistic risk from imagined risk. You cannot catch Nipah virus simply by walking past someone in a store or sitting quietly in your home. One common misconception I hear is that all viruses behave the same way. In truth, each virus has its own pattern. Nipah virus spreads most often when people are in very close contact, such as during hands-on caregiving, shared living spaces during illness, or medical care without proper protection. This is why doctors pay close attention to caregiving environments, not because they are unsafe, but because they involve closeness, compassion, and responsibility. In my years caring for older adults, I have seen how deeply personal caregiving can be. Spouses help one another dress and bathe. Adult children sit close to aging parents. Grandparents comfort grandchildren. These moments of connection are precious. Understanding how viruses spread allows us to protect those moments rather than avoid them. What matters most is awareness, not isolation. Simple practices like proper hygiene, listening to medical guidance, and staying informed during outbreaks are usually enough. There is no need to change daily routines when there is no active risk. Calm awareness protects emotional safety just as much as physical health. For seniors, the body may take longer to recover from illness, which is why prevention focuses on understanding rather than alarm. Knowing that Nipah virus requires close contact helps place the risk in perspective. It reminds us that thoughtful care and medical guidance are effective tools. I often remind my patients that knowledge gives them back a sense of control. When you understand how something spreads, you are no longer guessing. You are responding with intention. That sense of steadiness supports the brain, the heart, and overall well-being. Caregiving is an act of love. Learning how to protect yourself and others simply allows that love to continue safely, with dignity and confidence. Why doctors consider Nipah virus dangerous? When doctors describe Nipah virus as dangerous, they are not trying to frighten people. They are trying to be precise. In medicine, the word dangerous usually means something behaves in ways that are hard to predict and difficult to manage once it takes hold. That is the case here. One reason doctors pay attention to Nipah virus is its fatality rate during past outbreaks. Without getting lost in numbers, it is enough to understand that a higher portion of people became seriously ill compared to many common infections. What matters even more than the number itself is how quickly the illness can progress. In some cases, people moved from mild symptoms to severe complications in a short period of time. That speed is what captures medical attention. I often explain this to my patients by comparison. Some illnesses give the body time. Time to recognize the problem, time to respond, time to recover with rest and support. Nipah virus does not always offer that same window. It can move quickly, which means early recognition and proper medical care matter greatly. Another reason doctors remain cautious is unpredictability. Not everyone responds the same way. Some people experience mild illness. Others develop more serious symptoms involving the brain and nervous system. As someone who has spent years caring for patients with memory loss and neurological changes, I understand how deeply unsettling brain-related illness can feel. That is why doctors approach viruses that affect the nervous system with particular care. For older adults, unpredictability deserves respect, not fear. Aging bodies are wise, but they are also more complex. The immune system may respond differently than it did decades ago. Recovery may take longer. This does not mean weakness. It means the body has adapted through many years of life, and it asks for patience and support. What I want to emphasize is calm awareness. Knowing why doctors consider Nipah virus dangerous helps remove mystery. It shifts the focus from panic to preparation. Preparation does not mean changing how you live your life today. It means understanding signs, listening to medical guidance, and trusting that knowledge allows better decisions if illness ever appears. I have seen time and again that people feel steadier when they understand the reason behind medical concern. They sleep better, they worry less, they feel more grounded in their bodies. That emotional steadiness supports physical health in powerful ways. Doctors study viruses like Nipah, not because they are everywhere, but because when they do appear, calm readiness protects lives. Awareness is not fear, it is respect for the body and for the years of experience that come with aging. Early symptoms and why they can be missed. One of the quiet challenges with Nipah virus is that its early symptoms can look very ordinary. In the beginning, a person may feel tired, develop a fever, or notice a headache. These are sensations most of us have felt many times in our lives. Because they are familiar, they are often easy to dismiss. In my experience caring for older adults, I have seen how quickly people learn to minimize their own discomfort. Many seniors tell me they do not want to make a fuss. They assume it is just a cold, a poor night of sleep, or part of getting older. That instinct comes from strength and independence, but it can sometimes delay attention when the body is asking for rest or care. Early symptoms of Nipah virus may also include muscle aches or a general feeling of being unwell. These signs are not dramatic. They do not announce themselves loudly. That is why awareness matters more than alarm. The goal is not to suspect serious illness at every ache, but to notice patterns. When symptoms feel different than usual, more intense, or do not improve with time, the body may be asking for help. From a caregiving perspective, I often remind families to trust gentle observation. Changes in alertness, confusion, or unusual behavior deserve attention, especially in older adults. The brain can be sensitive to illness, and even small infections can sometimes affect thinking or balance in seniors. This does not mean something severe is happening, but it does mean listening carefully. I remember a patient who told me she felt guilty for calling her doctor over what she thought was nothing. In truth, she did exactly the right thing. Seeking guidance early gave her reassurance and allowed simple care before complications developed. That kind of attentiveness protects both physical health and peace of mind. What I encourage is a relationship with your body built on patience and respect. You know what feels normal for you. When something feels off, it is reasonable to pause and check in with a healthcare provider. This is not weakness. It is wisdom shaped by experience. Early awareness does not create fear. It creates confidence. It allows seniors to remain active participants in their own care, preserving dignity and independence. Listening to the body gently is one of the most powerful habits of healthy aging. Nipah virus and the aging immune system. As we move past the age of 60, the immune system changes in quiet and natural ways. This is not a failure of the body. It is part of how a lifetime of living, healing, and adapting shapes our internal defenses. I often tell my patients that the immune system becomes wiser with age, but sometimes a little slower to respond. In simple terms, the immune system is like a group of messengers and helpers that recognize problems and coordinate a response. When we are younger, those messengers tend to move quickly. As we grow older, they may take a bit more time to recognize something unfamiliar and organize a full response. This is why recovery from infections can sometimes feel longer than it did years ago. With viruses like Nipah, doctors pay close attention to the immune response because the illness can progress quickly in some people. A slower immune response does not mean someone will become severely ill. It simply means timing matters. Early rest, medical attention, and supportive care give the body the space it needs to respond effectively. In my caregiving work, I have seen how older adults often recover beautifully when they are given patience and proper support. The body still knows how to heal. It may just ask for more time and gentler conditions. This is why risk management becomes important as we age. Risk management does not mean living cautiously or withdrawing from life. It means recognizing when the body needs extra care. I often remind families that protecting immune health after 60 is about routine. Regular sleep, nourishing food, hydration, and emotional calm all support immune function. Stress and fear, on the other hand, can quietly weaken the body's ability to recover. That is why understanding illness without panic is so important. When we talk about Nipah virus in the context of aging, the goal is not to create worry. It is to respect how the immune system works at this stage of life. Awareness allows seniors to seek care early if needed, and to trust that support makes a difference. I have watched many older adults regain strength after illness because they listened to their bodies and accepted help without judgment. That willingness is a form of strength. It honors the years the body has carried you through life. Aging changes the immune system, but it does not remove resilience. With patience, routine, and calm awareness, the body continues to protect itself in remarkable ways. Emotional safety and staying informed. One of the most important parts of health at this stage of life is emotional safety. I have seen many times that the body responds better when the mind feels steady and supported. Information can either calm us or unsettle us, depending on how it is shared. That is why I believe so deeply in learning within a space that respects dignity and patience. When health topics feel overwhelming, especially topics involving unfamiliar viruses, it is easy to shut down or avoid learning altogether. I understand that response, and many older adults have told me they feel tired of constant warnings and changing headlines. What truly helps is not more noise, but clearer understanding delivered gently. Calm information allows the nervous system to relax, and a relaxed nervous system supports the immune system in quiet but meaningful ways. In my years of caregiving, I have learned that people heal better when they feel connected. Community matters. Knowing that others are asking the same questions and learning at the same pace creates reassurance. It reminds us that we are not facing health concerns alone. Shared learning builds confidence and reduces isolation, which is especially important as we age. This is why Senior Health Daily exists. It is meant to be a steady place where health is discussed with care rather than urgency. A place where you can return when questions arise, without pressure or fear. Health education should feel like a conversation, not a lecture, and certainly not a warning siren. Before we continue, if this video is helping you understand your health, please subscribe, like, and share Senior Health Daily. It gives us the motivation to create more life-saving content for you. When you choose to stay informed in a supportive environment, you protect more than just your physical well-being. You protect your peace of mind. That peace helps with memory, sleep, and daily routine. It helps caregivers feel steadier. It helps families communicate with less worry and more trust. I often remind my patients that learning does not mean anticipating illness. It means building confidence. When you know where to turn for reliable information, uncertainty loses its power. You are no longer reacting. You are choosing how to care for yourself with intention. Staying informed is an act of self-respect. Doing it within a community that values calm and compassion makes that act sustainable. As we move forward together, remember that knowledge shared gently becomes strength, and strength grows best when it is supported. Preventive awareness. Without anxiety. As we talk about prevention, I want to pause on something very important. Prevention does not mean living in constant alert or watching your body with worry. True prevention supports calm, not tension. In my experience, the healthiest routines are the ones that feel steady and familiar, not exhausting or obsessive. Simple hygiene practices have always protected health. Washing hands, keeping living spaces clean, and being mindful when someone around you is unwell are habits many older adults already follow naturally. These actions are not reactions to fear. They are part of daily life, much like preparing meals or tending to personal care. When done calmly, they support both physical and emotional well-being. Listening to public health guidance also plays a role, especially during times when an outbreak is present. Guidance exists to help people make informed choices, not to create panic. I often encourage patients to choose one or two reliable sources and ignore the rest. Too much information can overwhelm the nervous system and make it harder to think clearly. What we want to avoid is hypervigilance. Constantly scanning the body for symptoms or worrying about every interaction can quietly drain energy and increase stress. Stress, in turn, affects sleep, memory, and immune function. Balance matters. Awareness should fit gently into life, not take it over. Routine is one of the most powerful tools for prevention. Regular sleep, nourishing meals, gentle movement, and moments of rest give the body consistency. The immune system thrives on predictability. When the body knows what to expect, it responds more effectively to challenges. I have seen many seniors remain remarkably resilient by maintaining simple routines even during uncertain times. They focus on what they can control, such as daily habits and emotional calm, rather than what they cannot. That mindset protects dignity and preserves independence. Preventive awareness is about trusting yourself. It is about knowing when to take sensible precautions and when to relax into normal life. There is room for both care and joy. Aging well does not require constant vigilance. It requires thoughtful balance. When prevention is practiced with calm intention, it becomes part of living fully rather than something that interrupts it. That balance allows seniors to feel secure without feeling confined, informed without feeling burdened, and prepared without feeling afraid. Caregiving a perspective for families. Caregiving is one of the most tender roles a person can step into, and it often arrives quietly. Adult children may find themselves helping a parent in small ways at first, with appointments, reminders, or daily tasks. Over time, those moments of help can grow, and with them come questions, emotions, and responsibility. In my years working with families, I have seen how deeply caregivers want to do the right thing. They worry about missing signs of illness or overreacting to small changes. When a topic like Nipah virus is discussed, those worries can rise quickly. What helps most is understanding combined with respect for the person being cared for. Older adults deserve to be included in conversations about their health. Even when memory changes or physical limitations are present, dignity remains. I always encourage families to speak directly and kindly, avoiding assumptions. Awareness should never feel like surveillance. It should feel like partnership. Caregiving environments involve close contact, which is why calm hygiene and clear communication matter. At the same time, caregiving is also about preserving normal life. Shared meals, familiar routines, and gentle humor all support emotional health. Illness awareness should never erase warmth from the home. I often remind caregivers that their presence alone is powerful. Listening, noticing changes, and responding with patience are more important than constant monitoring. When families feel informed rather than frightened, they make better decisions and communicate more openly. There was a family I worked with who worried constantly about protecting their father from every possible risk. Over time, they learned that what he valued most was feeling trusted and respected. When they shifted from fear-driven control to calm attentiveness, his confidence improved and their stress eased. Caregiving is not about preventing every possible problem. It is about creating a safe, respectful environment where concerns can be addressed early without urgency. Knowledge supports that balance by giving caregivers confidence rather than anxiety. For families caring for aging loved ones, staying informed together can strengthen relationships. It creates shared understanding instead of silent worry. When dignity leads the way, caregiving becomes an expression of love rather than fear, and both caregivers and seniors feel more secure. Why emerging viruses feel scarier than familiar illness. There is something about an unfamiliar illness that unsettles us more deeply than conditions we have known for years. I have often seen patients remain calm about familiar health challenges while feeling anxious about names they have never heard before. This reaction is human and completely understandable. The mind is wired to feel safer with what it recognizes. When we hear about a new virus, there is no personal reference point. We do not yet have stories of recovery, routines for care, or memories of how we handled it before. That uncertainty creates space for worry, even when the actual risk is low. It is not weakness, it is the brain trying to protect you. For older adults, this response can feel stronger because health becomes more personal with age. People think about their independence, their memory, and their ability to care for themselves. An emerging virus can feel like a threat to stability rather than just a medical issue. That emotional response deserves kindness, not dismissal. I often explain that anxiety does not mean something bad is happening. It means the mind is searching for understanding. When information is missing, the imagination fills in the gaps, often with worst-case scenarios. That is why clear explanation is so powerful. Understanding gives the brain a place to rest. When we take time to learn how an illness behaves, how it spreads, and who is most affected, uncertainty begins to shrink. Control does not come from eliminating risk. It comes from knowing how to respond calmly if a concern arises. This sense of preparedness supports emotional safety and helps people sleep better and think more clearly. In my caregiving work, I have watched anxiety ease simply because someone felt heard and informed. They were not told to stop worrying. They were given understanding. That shift changes the body as well as the mind. Stress hormones settle, breathing slows, and focus returns. Emerging viruses feel scarier because they are unknown, not because they are everywhere. Once the unknown is explained, fear often softens into awareness. Awareness allows you to stay engaged with life rather than withdrawing from it. Understanding is not about expecting illness. It is about trusting yourself to handle information with wisdom. When knowledge replaces uncertainty, calm follows. That calm supports memory, routine, and dignity, which are the foundations of healthy aging. What truly protects health? Long-term. After many years of caring for older adults, I have come to believe that long-term health is built on much more than avoiding illness. It is shaped by how we live day to day, how we respond to uncertainty, and how gently we treat ourselves when questions arise. Viruses like Nipah remind us of this truth, not because they demand fear, but because they highlight the importance of balance. What truly protects health over time is routine. The body finds safety in consistency. Waking up at a similar time each day, eating nourishing meals, moving gently, and resting when needed, all create a rhythm that supports both the immune system and the brain. Routine reduces stress, and reduced stress strengthens resilience in ways that medicine alone cannot. Emotional safety also plays a powerful role. When people feel calm and informed, their bodies respond more effectively to challenges. I have watched patients recover more smoothly simply because they felt supported and understood. Emotional steadiness supports memory, sleep, and the ability to make clear decisions, especially as we age. Another quiet protector of health is patience. Aging teaches patience whether we ask for it or not. Recovery may take longer. Energy may rise and fall. Accepting these changes without judgment preserves dignity. It allows the body to work at its own pace, rather than being pushed by fear or frustration. Knowledge, when shared gently, is another form of protection. Understanding illnesses without becoming consumed by them allows people to stay engaged with life. It helps families communicate openly and caregivers respond thoughtfully rather than urgently. Knowledge becomes a tool, not a burden. I often tell my patients that health is not about controlling every outcome. It is about staying connected to your body, your routines, and reliable guidance. When those connections are strong, unexpected challenges feel more manageable. As this conversation continues, I want you to remember that awareness does not take away joy. It supports it. Being informed allows you to live with confidence rather than caution. It allows you to focus on what matters most: relationships, purpose, and daily comfort. Senior Health Daily exists to support that kind of living. A place where learning feels calm and respectful. A place you can return to whenever questions arise. Thank you for taking this time with me. Your health journey deserves patience, understanding, and gentle support, and I'm grateful to walk alongside you. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want to slow everything down with you for a moment. Learning about Nipah virus does not mean danger is close or that something bad is about to happen. It means you chose understanding over avoidance. You chose to listen rather than turn away. That choice matters more than you may realize. After many years of caring for older adults, I have learned how resilient the human body truly is. Your body has carried you through decades of change, recovery, and adaptation. It has healed from illnesses you once thought you would never get through. It has adjusted to seasons of stress and seasons of rest. That history deserves gratitude, not doubt. Aging does not erase strength, it refines it. There is a quiet power in patience. There is dignity in calm awareness. These are not small things. They are forms of protection that support both the body and the mind. Health is not about controlling every possible outcome or living on alert. It is about staying informed, staying connected, and responding with care when the time comes. I want you to remember that knowledge does not steal peace when it is offered gently. It gives peace a place to settle. Understanding allows you to sleep better, think more clearly, and trust yourself again. It allows families to talk without fear and caregivers to act without panic. If health news ever feels overwhelming, know that you do not have to carry it alone. Senior Health Daily is here as a steady place you can return to. Not for urgency, not for pressure, just for calm guidance and reassurance when you need it. Thank you for spending this time with me. Wherever you are in your health journey, you are not behind. You are learning, adapting, and honoring your body with care. I hope you will stay connected with Senior Health Daily and continue walking this path with patience, trust, and quiet confidence.